What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing tonight? Woo we just finished up with the third and final debate. Actually, I don't know if we can actually say third, but it's a debate. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm playing around with knobs over here. It is what it is. But man, this was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was hilarious. Uh, Basically, what I gotta do here, I normally I would have took notes, but today I did commentary from just basically whatever I threw out on Facebook, and that's kind of how I did my notes here tonight. Because, well, let me preface the show here by starting off first off by telling you guys, in the interest of full disclosure, I'm like several drinks deep. And this is important because I decided to play that drinking game that everybody likes to post up online when there's a debate. You know, so and so says this, or so and so does this, then take a drink. Well, I did it, but I did it with the caveat that I'm only doing it. I'm gonna take a drink only when Joe Biden says, "Come on." I'm like 4 drinks deep. I'm not even gonna lie about that. The difference between me and most people is I can actually handle my liquor, so we're all good here. But man, what do you guys think about the debate tonight? It was hilarious in a lot of ways. What's up, Tracy? How you doing, man? Good to see you on here. You going to the Trump rally on Saturday? Apparently, the president might be there on Saturday. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Oh, man. What do we got here? Yes, we got brothers sharing out the videos here. Guys, do me a favor here. If you can, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, get this information out here. I will be posting this up here on YouTube later on. I will be posting this up here on Library TV. That's lbry.tv. You want to make sure you check that out in the event that YouTube gets pulled down. Dante, what's going on, brother? How are you? Good to see you on board, brother. But make sure you check out those platforms because that's why we rebroadcasting this. Of course, I'll be putting this up on the STS podcast. And of course, you can catch that on our website, plusultramedia.com. Now, let's break it down. Let's see. Yes, he'll be in Waukesha, Wisconsin, Saturday. President Trump. You know, and before I get to debate, let's think about this here. Monday, former Vice President Joe Biden put a lid. So what a lid basically means that he wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't saying squat to anybody. And he put a lid on until today for the debate. Of course, he had to break that because of all the breaking news regarding Hunter Biden. Mr. I need to snow coke off of somebody's ass. I'm getting ahead of myself because, you know, we're going to be talking about cocaine here pretty soon. And like Rick James said, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Brother David King's in the house here tonight. What's going on, brother? Darlene, how are you, my dear? Good to see you on board. But Biden, he's sitting in his basement. And I love how Trump brought that up. But what's President Trump doing? This man in his mid to late 70s, whatever it is, dude is doing 5 rallies a day until election day. 5. Now, the question I know you guys all want to know is not who won the debate, but where the hell was a Bionic Fly? And we'll get to that here in a minute. But the second question you want to know is how does an individual of any age fly across country and do 5 rallies? I mean, the guy doesn't speak for like 20 minutes and skedaddles. No. President Trump goes on for as long as he damn well pleases, says what he's got to say, gets you motivated, gets you going, and then moves on. So you can't really nail down on time. And, you know, the rally's at 5, the rally's at 7, the rally's at 2. No. He gets there when he gets there, and you will sit and wait. You will wait, and you will like it. I swear to God, President Trump must have been a Marine. Because in the Marine Corps, they used to tell us, you will wait, and you will like it. Well, you ever notice when it comes to a Trump rally? That's exactly what happens. You sit there, you will wait, and you will like it. And people do. This is the truth. Okay, so let's break it down here. Who won tonight? Break it down, guys. I got a couple people here. Tracy mentioned here that Trump kicked Biden's ass. Joe Lozano said that Trump won in a landslide against the big man. Gotta make reference to those emails. Got to make reference to those emails. Let's see what's going on here. See, and I gotta check Facebook because I got all kinds, and I do mean all kinds of stuff coming in here. All right. So let's overall take a look at who we think overall won right from the get-go. And before I do that, I want to say I think both candidates actually did a good job. And I think Dante made the reference to this earlier on a post. He said that both candidates were coherent. And I think that was something really important that needed to be brought up, because when you took a look at the first debate, Joe Biden seemed like he was lost. And I think as this debate kind of went along further and further, he certainly seemed to look lost. He looked flustered. And in a lot of ways, to me, Biden looked like this angry, stuttering old man that, you know, he's pissed off because he ran out of Busch Light and he found out that the liquor store closed 10 minutes ago. You know, so that's kind of like how I saw that. You know, dude sitting there in front of the liquor store, he's pissed off, he's pounding on the glass, he wants to break in because, damn it, he didn't realize he ran out of Busch Light like 2 minutes ago. But, you know, now he's got to be dry for 14 hours instead of 10. But such is life. Let's see here. Darlene mentioned here that I think he gave him something special in that COVID drug to 5 rallies. And I don't know if they gave him something special. Yeah. But I'll tell you, you know, right from the get-go, and Dante, I kind of really nailed it right here. He said that calm demeanor for both early on, and it kept it partly civil. And it was kind of interesting because one of the things that I was really pissed off and frustrated about when they were talking about we're going to cut the mics off, well, it didn't really seem like they cut the mics off. It seemed like both candidates were really under control. Both candidates really seemed to have their stuff down. Both candidates gave the other person time to speak. And right from the get-go, you notice Joe Biden went on the attack. And what I found interesting was how Trump was much more disciplined this time. He held back. He didn't go on the offensive. He was measured. He was sure. And Biden just kept saying, this guy, this. And the way he said it was uttered with such disrespect and contempt. Now, in a way, I kind of understand that. I understand that because here you are looking at the very man that has dismantled everything that your administration has done. But you need to understand that past administration had did everything to dismantle and disrupt the American way of life. One needs to truly understand, and this is where I think the average voter doesn't quite get it. When you look at the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, what you need to find is that TPP was looking at taking all the manufacturing here in the United States and moving it over to China. So when Joe Biden went on and talked about creating 18.6 million jobs, what he was really saying is he was creating 18.6 million jobs in China. Now, one thing somebody has said, and I remember this during, and I think it was the Clinton administration, and it kind of made sense at that time, but it didn't make sense going forward, years forward, was we're moving from a manufacturing base to a service base. Now, I was much younger at the time. I didn't quite understand economics as I do today. But here's the problem. If you don't have a manufacturing base, a strong manufacturing base in your country, where are you getting the money to have a service-based anything? Not only that, but service is not creation. Creation creates wealth. Service is just doing things for others, but eventually you'll run out of money because you can't trade services for money when you have no money to pay for said services. Creation is the crux of the increase of wealth. This is basic economics 101. All one needs to do, look back historically, look at the Industrial Revolution, and that'll tell you that. The Industrial Revolution going from, I believe it was the 1880s on forward up until the digital era. This is indeed what has brought more people on this planet out of poverty and into prosperity. A lot of people like to say that it just brought greed and everything else. There is greed in everything. So if you want to go ahead and pound on that and focus on that, well, you're going to find that. Your brain has this wonderful little thing, the reticulated activating system. And basically what it does is if you want to find something, guess what? You're going to find it. You want to find a negative, you'll find a negative. You want to find a positive, you'll find a positive. But if you really want to be smart about what you do, look in the middle. I think, who is it? Tim Pool. He brings this up a lot. And I know I bring him up a lot, but he's got a lot of great points. Occam's razor. Occam's razor suggests that the simplest and easiest on the surface solution is actually the solution. You don't really have to dig too far. Simplest answer is actually the answer. Okay. But it was interesting watching the debate because on the onset, like I said, Biden just went on for the attack. He was aggressive. I'll give you that. He was strong. I think what made it really, really fascinating and got points for him was how he tried to project everything onto Trump. And he was constantly projecting. It was this idea that, well, you're getting money from Russia and you're doing this. And again, you're bringing up Russia. I feel like I'm watching the Brady Bunch and I got, Jan over here talking about Marsha. It's like, dude, this is old hat. It's been debunked over and over and over again. And then I loved how President Trump just kind of just eased into Joe Biden, eased into the laptop, and then he kind of went strong onto it. And of course, Biden was denying it, saying that this is debunked and everything else. And it's like, what, the laptop's not real? What, are you kidding me? The laptop is very real. DNI Radcliffe and the FBI said this is not Russian disinformation. The information that has been given to the Delaware State Police is legitimate. Oh, and that's exactly it. Dan Christensen mentioned here, don't forget about the Biden family corruption. You got it right on point there because you got to remember, he talked about that with reference to Biden's brothers, to Hunter Biden, to Joe Biden himself, the big man. And I got to tell you guys here, we are 12 days away from election 2020. And I'm telling you, over the next 8 or 9 days, you are going to see more and more stuff being leaked out. Wait until you see the stuff coming out tomorrow. Wait till you see. I don't think there's going to be a day of rest until November 3rd. And then after that, boy, I'm telling you guys right now, I hope you guys have invested in your own home protection. I hope you've invested in lead. I hope you invested in being able to bug out if you have to, because things are going to get bad. Things are going to get dark. Hey, Christine mentioned Biden showed his true colors of narcissism. And it was funny because when you watched it, what did he say? See, you're debating Joe Biden here. This is Joe Biden you're going against. You ain't going against anyone else. I went against 20 other people. This is Joe Biden. And I was like, dude, you're talking about yourself in third person? Really? Who does that anymore? Not only are you talking about yourself in third person, but like your running mate called you a racist. Being Joe Biden isn't anything to brag about there, big man. Let me look in the comments here real quick. I love going into the comments. I tell you, it doesn't matter if I'm doing the podcast, on the Caramel Conservative, or if I'm doing, STS here. The comments that you guys put out here, this stuff is critical. This is like some of the best stuff here, and it is integral part of the show here. So let's take a look and let's see what we got in here. John Stephenson, he mentioned that Trump got him on 4 things: fracking, crime bill, who built the Cajuns, and what have you done in 47 years? Now all of a sudden you want to do something. And I think that's a great point, because when you look at, and this is something that he had brought up the first time. This is something that's been brought up time and time again. 47 years in office. What the hell did you really do other than 94 crime bill? By the way, I do support the 94 crime bill. I think it, like a lot of other government things that have happened, it has been abused. Now, that being said, The 94 crime bill still did not change the revolving door of the criminal justice system that let out murderers and rapists and everybody else time and time again. So it did not change anything as far as that was concerned. There are repeat offenders consistently, So yeah, he did certainly hit that. Trump was definitely stronger on policy this time around than he was on the first debate. No doubt about that. And Biden did come off a lot stronger. The problem, again, like I said, he seemed like the drunk, angry old man who found out that the liquor stores closed after he ran out of his last beer. Fracking, again, Joe Biden's talking about, I'm for fracking and everything else. Sure. Assuming that you do win the presidency, yeah, that's going to last like 1 or 2 days until Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi decide to take you down with the 25th Amendment. Dude's been playing up this whole Alzheimer's thing, and gaps and everything else are so damn long that they're going to boot him out with a quickness. The crime bill, like I said, we talked about that. Who built the cages? Again, Biden would not take responsibility for that. He would not do anything as far as that is concerned. And then when it came to COVID, I love the fact that the president decided to use that here, himself, having dealt with COVID-19 and having had to be in the hospital, he himself admitted that he had learned a number of things there from that. So I think that was really, really good. Tracy here mentioned that Trump also got him on shutting down the oil industry. And that was funny because Biden swore that he wasn't going to shut down the oil industry. But again, what was the state that he mentioned? But he said, we weren't going to do that. And then all of a sudden he says they are going to shut it down because of the carbon emissions. So it's like, which one are you going to do? And again, everybody wants to tout, wind and solar and everything else. But Trump was right on point with that. Solar is a great thing, but the capacity to generate the energy that is necessary does not exist. Then when it comes to the wind turbines, the death of all the birds, what it costs to go ahead and build these wind turbines. The very fact that you can't recycle those blades. And then, of course, the carbon emissions from those blades themselves. Interesting point of fact that was not brought up was the very fact of, wow, what do you think lubricates the motor and all the other moving parts? Somehow, I don't think wind lubricates anything. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty damn sure that means like you're going in dry. But hey, what do I know, right? Tracy also mentioned, let's see, John here. What did you got there? There's greed in a one-party system. There's greed in all kinds of systems. The thing about that, which fascinates me, is that when you have a one-party system, that's not greed. That's tyranny. Yeah. Two negatives always equal a positive, assuming that we got, we're dealing with magnets, but I think Joe might want to stay away from magnets. Yeah, you're right, Joe. You are right. Russian plant. The laptop was indeed a Russian plant because, like Joe Biden said, all of that was set up. This is all due to Russia. But again, he hasn't really been able to refute it. And there have been people that said that had Biden decided to go ahead of this, if Biden decided to kind of say, you know what, I lost a son, guy was a great guy, but, my only child right now, his life is kind of a wreck, and I need to do what I need to do to take care of him. He probably would have got a sympathy points there, but he didn't have it. And he didn't do that. So all it looks like he's doing is literally covering up his crimes. I got Jen over here mocking me. Thanks. Good looking out there. What were you yelling about up there? A damn dog. I know. It's kind of like Joe Biden running around sniffing people. I wonder why that didn't get brought up tonight. Anyway, let's see here. What do we got? Let's see. Tracy said, I'm heading up by you if things go south. Yeah, things go south, and people need to, you need to have a plan. You do need to have a plan. Well, Ed Darley mentioned on here, Bob Dole did third person all the time. Yeah, and he had that pin, and I understand he had disability. Dude was like running around talking about, Bob Dole doesn't endorse this. Bob Dole doesn't want. Stop talking in third person. Joe Biden tried doing that tonight. Dude was like, see, you're not debating any of those other tweet people. You're debating Joe Biden. Joe Biden's up here on stage. And it's like, yeah, we know who you are. Do you know who you are? Because it ain't anything special, dude. Joe said Ed's getting stabbed tonight. Oh, it's probably true. Let's see. John also mentioned here, Trump already put Joe's fracking video on Twitter. Oh, yeah, I know. And it's funny because the Trump Twitter account's been lighting up tonight. And then Christine, how are you tonight? The corruption in the FBI needs to go. And it's interesting because generally speaking, we tend to think that the FBI is the organization that, you know, the corruption was at the top. It wasn't so much on the field level, but we've come to find out that actually it has leaked and seeped down into the field level. So that is certainly something there. I want to go into some of the points that they had talked about tonight. And I'm almost scared to open up Messenger. There we go. Joe Lozano likes to post a lot of memes on here. He's got his Trump flag waving. He's got Vladimir Putin eating popcorn. It's going to be good. There's going to be countries around the world that are going to be checking this out. Something that I wanted to bring up that was brought up when they talked about race. And I love how people like to use this thing, the talk. He mentioned that there's a lot of people in the Black and Hispanic communities that say, you know, as parents, you're scared for your children and that you need to have the talk, that you need to act a particular way around police officers and this, that, and the other because of your race. Here, let me kind of paraphrase the talk I had with my parents when I was a kid. Be the exception and not the rule. You don't have to be like everybody else. And don't be an asshole. That was kind of it. See, but I grew up in a military family. And in a military family, it was yes, sir, no, sir. You knew who the figures of authority were. You respected them accordingly because they could crush you like a bug. It didn't matter if you thought you were Billy Badass. It didn't actually matter if you really were a true and legitimate badass. Law enforcement was going to take you down no matter what. This was a losing battle for you. And the best thing that you could have done was to comply and deal with things later on. Sometimes in life, you have to take a hit. Sometimes in life, you're served a poop sandwich and basically you got to take a bite, but you deal with it later on to get remedy. Growing up, I was taught that. It wasn't fight the police. It wasn't that the police are trying to kill us. Clearly, I'm not a white guy. I don't look white by any stretch of the imagination. Do I? Do I look white? No, I don't think I do. I mean, I don't look black, but I'm, you know. But every time I've been pulled over by a police officer, and I've been around a while. How you doing, sir? Do you know how fast you've been going? And I'm not even going to try to lie to a cop, to be honest with you, because if you could catch me at the speeds I'm going, yeah, you got me. There's no reason to be like, no, you got me because I'm driving while brown. Nah, I was doing like 70 and a 15. I was doing like, 65 in a residential. You got me. You pulled me over and I'm in the city late at night and stuff. Chances are you got me because I got a busted headlight out. And I know about it because I probably got the lights in the back of the car and I've been too damn lazy to put them in. Jen will tell you all about that, right? Because I'm known for my mechanic skills, even for something as simple as a light. But every time I've had an encounter with law enforcement, I have always been addressed as sir. Now, as a matter of practicality, do I put my hands at 10 and 2? Yes. Do I tell the officer whether I am armed or not? Yes. Do I tell the officer, may I have permission to do X, Y, or Z? You're damn right I do. And here's why. As a student who went to school for law enforcement, I am well aware that a law enforcement officer, when they come up on you, they are in a position to draw their weapon like that. And the reason they're on that position is because they have to deal with the worst segments of society. And because of that, they are on guard from everybody. because they don't know who they're going to encounter. So accordingly, they need to be on the ready. I don't need to upset them. I don't need to make their day any worse than what it is. I don't need to make more paperwork or court work or anything else. What I need to do is say, yes, sir, no, sir. I hope I can get off with a warning. Usually, I get off with a warning. Occasionally, I've got tickets and everything else like that. But, you know, it is what it is. You over the speed limit, chances are you should get a ticket. If you get off with a warning, then you got the hookup. Bumper, what's going on here tonight? Well, and that's funny, Joe. Joe mentioned this here, and I'm glad you said this. This is like big PP energy right here. Joe said, my parents never gave us the talk. We learned it from the streets. And it was funny because, yeah, you learned it from other people because they would tell you, listen, this cop, you can get away with this. This cop, you can't. This cop's a hard ass. You need to watch yourself around them. This person, you got, you know, you can be a little more, you know, running off at the mouth. So when they talk about this idea of systemic racism in this country, it's bullshit. I mean, honestly, that is the complete breakdown when it comes to it. And furthermore, when you want to talk about the talk, here's the addendum that I also had, and I put this up on social media today. One of the other things that my father told me, and I mentioned this earlier, was to be the exception, not the rule. But he also told me to be the best damn version of myself I could be. That I don't have to be like everybody else, that I can be better than everything. My color doesn't define me or restrict me. So, and again, I always go back to my current situation. Why is it that I live in an area that's 90+% white people, but yet here I am living my best life? You people can't understand that. You people that want to push critical race theory, you people that want to push, you know, this idea of systemic racism. As a Hispanic man here in America, I'm telling you, you people are full of shit. Because your idea of systemic racism, your idea of critical race theory, that white people have all the power and Hispanics and blacks and people of color don't have anything, to me, that's complete and utter garbage, because ultimately what it says is that I can't do anything without you. Well, let me tell you something. Not only can I do without you, but I'm doing better because I don't have you giving me guidance and direction. Now, that is not to say that I don't have white friends that give me guidance and direction, but they also don't see me as a brown man. They see me as a man. You see? And that is the difference between the people that believe in this liberal, you know, I hesitate to call it thought process because it's barely thought, but the people that believe this don't have this belief that we have this innate ability in ourselves to become what God has given us, you know, to become the best version of ourselves and to become what God has intended us to become. But I'm getting on a tangent here. Yes, ma'am, I am. I am very fortunate to have the father that I had. Yeah. Him and I don't always see eye to eye. And we don't see eye to eye now, but growing up, I have nothing but respect for him. Yes, Joe, I had Christmas lights up over the summer. Damn it. I got to put them back up again. I did take them down. Let's see here. What else we got here in the chat room? Let's see here. There was something here I wanted. I saw something up here that kind of hit me home. Tracy mentioned this here, and we talked about this on one of the other shows. This idea of everyone jumped off the bridge, drop off bridge, would you? And it was interesting because someone made comment about this as they were talking about COVID, about the potential for another lockdown and other things like that. And there's this idea that everybody likes to think that if their friends were jumping off a bridge, like your parents would tell you, if everyone's jumping off a bridge, would you jump off? And of course, you're sitting here like, no, I wouldn't. But the reality of it is, yes, you would. And the reason you would do that is because you wanted to be in the know. You want to be part of the clique. You want to be part of the cool kids. Case in point, take a look at what happened back in March when it comes to toilet paper and hand sanitizer. Nobody thought they'd be bugging out over toilet paper, but everybody were fighting for toilet paper. people were fighting for hand sanitizer. It was kind of ridiculous what was going on. It's called social proof. So it's kind of interesting because we'd like to think that we would be above the fray, but the reality is, nah, we really weren't. But yeah, Tammy mentions here. Let's see. Let's get that up here. I want to know who the four heads of the CIA Joe mentioned tonight. Well, and it's funny because Joe Biden mentioned that, he had multiple people, former intelligence agency individuals that debunked his the claims that are being levied against him. Well, it's great. They were former. And yeah, I'm sure they have security clearances still, but I doubt that they have access to the stuff that's going on in an active investigation. So I'm pretty damn sure that those individuals have no bearing on anything. They're just giving opinion based upon speculation at best. Let's go into some of the comments that I did here on social media because this was some good stuff. Hilario DeLeon here tonight. What's going on, brother? So let's go into the comments here. So when they were talking about, the plans, the responses to COVID-19, I loved it how Joe Biden, once again, he was talking about increased testing and masks and everything else. Now, number one, anytime someone advocates for masks, to me, that just really screams Hitler-esque. It screams, Yellow Star David. And no, I'm not apologizing for that. I won't apologize for that because some people are like, well, you're making an example because it's a Jew thing. Well, yeah, because they were compelled to wear a Yellow Star David. You're compelling me to wear a mask. Sorry, Americans aren't really known for their compliance. And I will live up to my legacy. I will not comply. But it was interesting, short of the mask thing, everything that Joe Biden said with his response for COVID-19, it seemed like he plagiarized the Trump administration's plan. And again, plagiarization is something the Biden knows pretty damn much about. Fascinating that in 1988, when Biden also tried to run for president, he dropped out because he plagiarized. How the hell is it that he's still able to go out there and become a presidential nominee at this point? More comments here. Oh, did you guys catch that when Biden was talking about how it's going to be a real dark winter coming up here? I'm not going to lie. I'm expecting White Walkers in December. Like, if we don't have White Walkers in December, I'm going to be pissed. Like, seriously. I'm going to be mad. Like, I'm going to hit somebody. I'm going to hurt somebody. I want White Walkers. I didn't get zombies. I didn't get Walking Dead. I didn't even get Shaun of the Dead zombies. If I don't get White Walkers here in December, based on what Joe Biden said, we're going to have a problem. Carolyn, how you doing tonight? Good to see you here. Carolyn mentioned here, let's get this up on screen. Joe, like a typical Mexican, you just putting on blank stuff here. Well, I got to throw Joe's up on first. Yeah, Joe, what's this, man? It's just blank. You know what that is? That's Joe sign. He's going to steal my car. Not the Rona. Anyway, Carolyn mentioned here that COVID-19, why do folks seem to think the U.S. is special and unique in that we could prevent it or squash it, unlike the rest of the world? Well, Joe said we got brown walkers in Ohio. What? And I think that's a great question to Carolina. Here's the thing. So you had countries in like Italy and Germany that had gotten decimated on the onset. Italy, probably the best example of that, but they also have the oldest population of any country in the United States. And I love it how when Biden made the comparison that, we have the highest amount of COVID numbers here than any other country. Orlando Owens, what's going on, brother? How you doing tonight? Tony Picks, what's going on? By the way, if you guys are in the Metro Milwaukee area and you are in Orlando, make sure you put up your district up in here. November 3rd, vote this man into office. People over party. Wisconsin Assembly, I believe that is. Orlando, make sure you put that stuff out. But when you take a look at countries like, Germany, when you take a look at Italy, when you take a look at any other country in Europe, hell, you take a look at the Soviet Union, they pale in comparison to the size of the United States of America. So just by their sheer numbers alone, we are going to have a higher number of COVID numbers. We're going to have a higher number of deaths. We're going to have a higher number of recoveries. And this is one area that I think the president, he kind of pooped the bed on, where he really should have hammered home the fact that these individuals, that are being afflicted with COVID-19 are not, the fatality rate is becoming infinitesimal. Now, one death is too many. This is true. But we need to keep this contextual. We need to keep this to the point where, you know what? Yeah, people are dying. But what about the pre-existing conditions? We need to look at these states that have these lockdowns. And the president did mention that, but he could have done a better job at it. The president could have drove home the point that, shutting down the economy has led to higher deaths, from suicide, alcohol-related, substance abuse, drugs, in particular methamphetamines, which, of course, leads us into crime reform. And I'm only going to touch into that for a little bit because we did talk a little bit. Operation Goya 2020. Yeah, that's right. Bye, Goya. Hashtag Operation Goya 2020. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into the crime bill. Like I said, I support it. I think it was abused. That all being said, though, I loved how Joe Biden had talked about nobody needs to be in jail for little drugs like marijuana. We need reform for this, that. And then, interesting, I'm just saying at this point, he goes, in particular, cocaine. Now, again, Rick James said it best, cocaine's a hell of a drug. But why is it 2 days ago, there was a picture of Hunter Biden snorting coke off somebody's buttocks, and he's going to bring up cocaine tonight? I'm just asking the questions at this point. Like, I know a lot of people that, they think they're ballers and, coke is the drug of the rich and all that other stuff. I understand that. But, most people, you're going to do lines. You're going to do lines with a $20 bill over a glass plate, right? I don't know too many people snorting coke off of somebody's ass. Maybe that's just me. But then again, I'm also the guy who's never smoked weed in my life either. So what do I know? I only study stuff. Oh, Orlando, in case you're not knowing, there was a picture that was released here a couple of days ago that had Hunter Biden snorting coke off of somebody's ass. And apparently it is speculated that this individual may potentially be underage. Now, Rudy Giuliani, he did release some of this stuff here to the Delaware State Police Department because he does believe that there are child pornography images on Hunter Biden's laptop. Furthermore, he believes Hunter Biden was involved at some level with dealing with human trafficking with underage individuals. This picture, of course, brought up, Hunter Biden snorting coke off somebody's butt. Like I said, who snorts stuff off people's butt? That's freak of the week right there. But when talking about criminal reform, and we're talking about you shouldn't be, prosecuting people, throwing people in jail for life over minor drug offenses. But at the same point, he mentions cocaine in particular. Why did you pick Hunter's favorite drug? That's what I want to know. Cocaine, crack, tomato. I'm just asking. Who snorts cocaine off anyone's ass? That's just. But then again, who falls asleep with a crack pipe in their mouth? Who knows? Let's see here. Darlene mentioned Joe was also known on the Hill as being a really nice guy. Not too bright, but nice. Well, it's funny because I don't know if was he known as being nice? Because dude overall kind of seems like he's just being a dick. Like, seriously. Let's go into some other comments here. Stephanie, how are you tonight? How's the world treating you up there in Door County? I know people are still running around vandalizing signs. Did you guys catch that thing when they were going out there? Some people were sending out flyers, and basically they were saying, you know, hey, you've been identified as a Trump supporter, and we hope you have adequate homeowners insurance because you're responsible for the civil war or whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be fun watching what happens after the election. People won't try to act the damn fool, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get hurt. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of there are a lot of sheriffs that are saying, you know what, we don't want to hear anything until after you take care of it. I'll tell you, I live in an area right now. That's what our sheriff says. And I know other counties, their sheriffs are saying the same thing. And this is important because, you know, we got 12 days into this election. I'm guaranteeing you guys right now, I'm going on a limb. Number one, you know, I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump will be reelected. It will be a contested election, don't get me wrong, but Trump will be reelected. We will retain the House, and we will actually gain the House, and we'll probably get a supermajority in the Senate. That being said, though, it will not be without a fight. The Democrats, the liberals, the leftists, they understand this. They know this. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, let me introduce you to the cold reality of where we're at. We're in a war for our lives. That's the bottom line. And the very fact of the matter is this: we do not have the luxury of resting on our laurels. You want to have that luxury. I understand that. But we don't have it. Take a day off. Take a week off as you need. I understand that. But this idea of being complacent and then letting the left go ahead and rise again, it can't happen. Look where we're at. Let's go on here. More comments, because we had a lot of good comments on here tonight. Let's see here. I got to get out of COVID here. Oh, but it was funny because when Biden was talking about, you know, Americans don't panic. It's like, dude, where were you in March and April? But whatever. Anyway, let's see here. I got to find a bunch of other stuff. Again, we talked about the fact that you notice a lot of the stuff that Biden is being accused of right now, a lot of the things that is coming up that's breaking over the news cycle. And again, I need to remind people as we enter the 45-minute marker here, please make sure you guys are liking, sharing, subscribing, whether you're listening to it here live on Facebook Live, listening to on YouTube, whether you're listening on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Apple, iTunes, or Library TV. That's LBR. Yeah, LBRY TV. .tv. Make sure you guys check those out. Like, share, and subscribe here, because I was talking to my wife earlier tonight. This is really important because when you think about this, right, you're not getting this information from NPR. You're not getting it from PBS. You're not getting it from the legacy media. These people are squashing and suppressing it. If you take a look at the New York Post, their Twitter account is still locked down. They are still locked out of that. New media is what's getting this information out there. It's content creators like myself, Paris Prokopis, other folks out there, the Joe Rogans, the Tim Pools, other people out there. These are the folks that are going out here, putting out this information to get it out there to you guys. And here's the difference between us and the legacy media. We're giving you the information. We want you to research this. We want you to dig the facts and then make your own determination for yourself. Whereas the legacy media is telling you what you should and should not believe in. You know, the CNNs of the world, even Fox News to a certain extent. You know, that was a good one there. Tony mentioned this. That was actually hilarious. Tony mentioned my favorite statement was him calling Trump Abraham Lincoln. I said it out loud. What the hell? I did sound like Joe Biden there for a moment, stuttering on the river. Oh, it was rough. I've been up since 5:30 this morning, brother. I've been up since 5:30 this morning. I played the Joe Biden come on man drinking game. I'm not going to apologize for it. It is what it is. Like I said, I do these shows raw, uncut, unedited. It is what it is, right? But that was kind of funny because when Trump, and he's made this analogy a number of different times, that he's done more for the minority communities than any other president since Abraham Lincoln. And it was funny because if you notice, Joe Biden had his right hand extended talking about Abraham Lincoln. Where he screwed up was it made him look like a damn fool, because had he used the following sentence, it would have made more sense. Oh, yeah, Abraham Lincoln over here. And this is where Joe Biden tried to play President Trump's game. He tried to play his game to the extent that he wanted it to be, you know, I'm going to be snarky. I'm going to go in for the kill. I'm going to do this and that and the other. And it's like Joe Biden is trying to be President Trump. What Joe Biden should have done is listen to his own words. Let Joe Biden be Joe Biden. So, and that's kind of, again, we can find the mistakes in the debate here. And I thought on the onset, President Trump needed to go in for the kill. I think President Trump could have finished off Joe Biden tonight. However, I think, once again, I was wrong. I don't think President Trump wanted to go in for the kill. I think he could have, but he chose not to. I think because of what's going to come out over the next few days, I think he wants Biden to feel the pain. And he wanted him to survive this. And I think that's the only reason Biden survived. It's not because he had any kind of coherent thoughts, and he did have some. It's not because he tried to come off a little tougher and stronger, because Biden did come off tougher and stronger this time around. But Joe Biden only survived because President Trump let him survive. I think what's going to happen over the next week or so, maybe week plus, what we're going to see with regards to the Biden family, it's going to be unprecedented. The level of corruption and everything else that we see out here, yeah. And I think that's the other thing. Tracy really, really put that down. Christine also said Joe Biden has a hard time knowing who the hell he is. That's probably why he had to tell the audience and tell the world, you're talking to Joe Biden over here. I'm Joe Biden. It's like, yeah, dude, we know you're Joe Biden. Who did you think we thought you were? You're not Kamala. You're not Hillary. Your ankles aren't big enough to be Hillary. You're Stuttering Joe, Creepy Joe, Joe Pedo. Yes, I went there. But Tracy mentioned here that President Trump is letting Joe Biden destroy himself. And then Joe also mentioned that Trump is letting Biden bleed out slowly. And I do think that is part of the plan. They are letting these people, still blowing up over here, they're letting these people hang out. They're letting these people suffer as they kind of just implode upon themselves. They're giving themselves the rope to hang themselves. And honestly, at this particular point, 12 days into the election, I am very surprised. I thought Joe Biden would have been replaced by now. That's not to say that it can't happen between now and election day, but I honestly thought that he'd be out at this point, but he's not. But what do you guys think, man? To me, I think the winner was pretty clear. I think Trump won this debate. Debates overall, by and large, they're useless. Nobody's going to remember too much about this debate here in a day or two. But there were some really, really good sound bites. I mean, there's certainly things that you can check out. I mean, it's going to be great seeing here over the next few weeks. But as always, guys, I want to make sure you guys remember a couple things here. We're going to close out the show here in a moment. Got a big day ahead of me tomorrow. But first and foremost, make sure you go over to our website. Check us out here, plusultramedia.com. That's where you're going to be able to find all the past episodes here from the Caramel Conservative, STS, the videos, a couple of the blog posts I put out. I haven't put a blog up in a while. I actually got to get to it and actually pretend like I know what I'm doing here. But yeah, make sure you check that out. Plus, I got a lot of other great content creators that I share platforms with. So make sure you guys check those out. And as always, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that other good stuff. Listen, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight. And as I close out all my shows each and every week, I want to leave you guys with this thought. You know, we live in a time in particular where it seems things are very, very dark. It seems that we're we're looking into an abyss, and like darkness is falling above us. But guys, you got to remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. And while there are bad actors, while there are villains out there in the world, there are also heroes too. And probably the most important thing that I've heard in many years is the idea that you too can become a hero. And I'm not talking superhero, Superman, All Might, Batman. I'm talking about be that hero for your family, that person that stands up on principle and values, and actually you walk the walk. What you preach is what you actually do. Be the hero in your family, be the hero in your community, be the hero in your state, your nation. Believe in yourself and know that you can be more than what you already are. Understand that God has created you to be the best version of yourself you can be. All you have to do is like the statue of David. When the artistry was done in that, it was claimed that, you know what, all I did was brush aside the rebel. The statue was already there. The hero that you are meant to be is already there. Just brush off the rebel. That's all you got to do, you know. And like my dad told me, I will tell you guys, you know, be the exception and not the rule. So thank you guys here for joining me tonight. I really do appreciate that. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all the other good stuff that goes along with that. So until next week, Joe Lozano. Yes, I am the Goya man. Hashtag Operation Goya 2020, Operation Goya 2021. Joe, you're onto something. You know that. And this Saturday, if you're in the Milwaukee area, President Trump is supposed to be at the Waukesha Airport approximately 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we'll see what's going on with that. I'm sure more information will be coming out here accordingly. So, guys, thank you very much. I love you guys. Good night. And God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And I am out.